Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Unscripted with Daniel. We're doing some local coverage of some local stories in Indiana. And first off, I want to go ahead and cover the arguments of some local senators, some Indiana senators, in the hearing that happened yesterday. So let's just go ahead and jump into that. And we're going to cut to that screen now where we can look at that information. Here's Liz Brown and her arguments.
I don't think that independent commission is going to come back anytime soon to rewrite those maps. Hoosier voices are going to be harder to hear. Without this, they're going to be silenced because there will be no conservative voices in Washington, D.C. The few from this state will be yelled and screamed at, not unlike some in our gallery, by the Democrats who will be controlling our Congress. And I will leave you with this one thought. We had conversations about the bill being challenged, and that is the one thing since I've been here. There has not been a pro-life bill that we passed has not been challenged, and we lost some. And I would do it again, and I beg my taxpayers who paid those dollars to defend those suits to stand with me, because ultimately we got it done. But when you say that the rights of one person are not more important than another, guaranteed. But I can tell you, if Democrats are in control, the rights of the unborn will be silenced, and their voices matter too.
And the rights of Democrats would be silenced too if they had gone forward with proposed maps. So it's a really bad argument. Okay, so let's move on from Liz Brown to this guy, Mr. Mike Gaskill, who says that he is, he's not going to just do what Trump wants, but he's just going to vote that way, that's all. So let's listen in.
Some have said that President Trump is forcing this on us. President Trump is not forcing this on us. He's encouraging us to do the right thing, to stand up and fight. You're talking to the man who tried to change things from 2016 to 2020, and they came after him. It wasn't enough just to beat him in the election. They raided his home. They used lawfare to try to sue him out of existence. They came after him criminally and civilly, Senator Walker, both ways. That man has taken a bullet, had a near-death experience, all to try to take the power of Washington and tame it down and send power back to the states. That's what a republic is all about. How much time do I have?
1 minute.
All right. Guys, this is a hard one. I understand it. But we've got to stand up and fight. If I lose my seat over this, I will walk away and be happy that I did the right thing. President Trump almost lost his life, and Charlie Kirk did lose his life. The rhetoric that we hear from the...
I just want to say he's like setting up Charlie Kirk to be some type of martyr, which he was not a good guy. He just was vile in what he said. So let's, with that in mind, let's continue to hear his statement.
National Democrat Party is absolutely insane. I know you guys don't support that, but they're riling up people to commit heinous acts.
Like January 6th. I'm not sure what he's, wow.
We have to stop evil right now, and I use the word evil on purpose. Evil prospers when good men do nothing, and good women. Please.
And these maps were not evil, trying to disenfranchise them. That's not an evil to suppress those voters. Okay, all right.
Stand up and fight for your people the way they fight for theirs.
Oh, but just not some of your people. You're not going to stand up for those people who think differently than you. Okay, got it. All right, moving on, Mr. Gaskill. All right, so now we have the most explosive Senate or Senator Chris Garden. And wow, this one, it you just got to hear it. And
these maps are political. Let me be clear. You're damn right they are. Political policy is political. Safe streets are political. Look at Indianapolis. Affordable electricity is political. A drug-free...
I mean, he's right. All things are political, but what we try to do in a democracy is allow there to be competition between the two opposing ideas. And everything may be political, but we at least allow for people to have their vote, your constituents in your state to have their vote, and to have their policy and their opinions be enacted. Right?
Indiana is political. Peace in the Middle East is political. I dealt with it firsthand. If drawing a map that secures 2 more seats for the Republican Party means that we continue to see overdose deaths drop by 20%, then I'll draw that map every single day of the week and twice on Sunday.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen if we had gone forward with the new maps. I think actually it would probably get worse because the economy is getting worse under Trump. So if we accelerate Trumpism, then we're going down a path of lowering returns for the lower class, which means they're not going to do as well. They're not going to be able to afford to get the food, just the bare necessities that they need. And so that's not good for Hoosiers.
If drawing a map means that we'll continue to see a 93% drop in illegal immigration, then I'll sign it with a smile on my face.
And to lock up your neighbors who aren't really criminals, but just, maybe they didn't do quite the right paperwork, or maybe they did, and just based on the color of their skin, they were taken by ICE because it was determined by the Supreme Court that they're allowed to do that. So, I mean, people don't like that. I don't know why he doesn't understand that.
We're not here to be neutral arbiters of decline. We're here to be active agents of American greatness. So I ask you, do not shrink from this moment. Do not hide behind tradition when the future of the Republic is at stake, because make no mistake, that
Republicans prefer to use the term republic because they don't like the will of the people. They don't like democracy. Specifically, I should be fair. I should be fair and say specifically MAGA Republicans do not like democracy because they lose. The people don't like their policies. It's just a fact.
That's what the scope of your vote is today. The courts have cleared the way. The data has proven the case. The precedent has been set by our opponents. And the White House has made the call. And it's time for Indiana to answer. Vote yes for this map. Vote yes for 2 more seats. Vote yes for a safer, stronger, and more prosperous Indiana. Thank you, Mr. President.
All right, that's his coverage. That's his speech on that, and the end of that portion of this redistricting coverage. Yeah, wow, some bad arguments stated by the MAGA Republicans, and no wonder they lost. No wonder. And I'm proud to say I am a Hoosier now, that the normal, logical people have basically prevailed in the vote. The cool heads did prevail. And it was a 1930 vote. So a resounding no to the maps. Okay, moving on. Hobart residents sue over the building of a new data center. 4 Hobart residents are suing to try to block a giant Amazon data center that could supplant a square mile of farmland within city limits. Homeowners Angelita Soriano and Albina Venagas, I'm not good at the names, but basically, yeah, they're fighting to protect their community just like we did in Valparaiso. People spoke out about the data center, and they go on here to talk about a bit of the noise and also the effect on the water supply, and how that could be contaminated by a data center, because it's actually right by Deep River. So that's another thing that makes it even more dangerous in that location, as well as the things that we all know about. And let's go ahead and look at those things that we all know about. That, yes, according to AI even, data centers, especially those powering the AI boom, significantly contribute to rising electricity costs for everyone by dramatically increasing local power demand, straining grid capacity, and forcing utilities to invest in expensive upgrades, with these costs often passed on to residential and small business customers through higher rates. The massive energy needs of these facilities, sometimes consuming power equivalent to thousands of homes, outpace new housing supply, leading to price spikes, particularly in data center hotspots. It says Virginia and Illinois, but, Indiana too, if we let it. But we shouldn't. So that's it's an important thing to stand up against if we don't want our electricity prices to go up. I'm sure there's a good way to do data centers, but this is not it. Maybe there's a way to somehow scale the investment with housing development, and therefore there isn't a rate spike in the electricity costs. But that's not what's happening. We're moving forward at light speed, moving quick and breaking things the Silicon Valley way, and people's prices for electricity and basic necessities are going up because of it. And this is, it's just the Silicon Valley way, as I said. But those are the stories, the local stories that I felt like I needed to cover. I am going to cover the data center, the whole idea of data centers and AI, generative AI. I have somebody I want to interview, a few people that I want to interview to cover that story for Unscripted with Daniel in more detail. But with all that being said, that is the end of the stream. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.